A growing lack of trust in Denver's mayor from other city leaders is interfering with yet another of the mayor's priority projects. This time, the women's soccer stadium he wants built near I-25 and Broadway. Our Marshall Zellinger explains how the mayor's secrecy over another land deal is slowing the soccer stadium project.
I trust you, I just have to verify it. It's literally what I was elected to do.
Trust but verify by Council President Amanda Sandoval just acted as a goalie, slowing the ball rolling for the women's soccer stadium for Denver Summit FC.
If I vote on something, I have to verify the money and where it's going, and it should be all packaged up.
This council committee met and heard presentations on the financial agreements City Council must approve for the stadium construction to move forward here at Santa Fe Yards. The city has promised $50 million to build out infrastructure around the stadium.
It can be spent on public land and stadium infrastructure improvements, such as roads, walkways, lighting, safety controls, utility improvements, storm drainage.
Sandoval wanted to see a list of projects and costs before giving initial approval to send the agreement to the full city council. And she brought up last month's discovery that when the city obtained Park Hill Golf Club in a land swap with developer Westside Investment Partners, Mayor Mike Johnston added acreage to make the deal a dollar-for-dollar exchange without city council knowing.
City council approved a deal with Westside, and we found out after that 20 acres were given after we approved it. I want to make sure that what I'm approving on the night of the 15th is what is happening.
When we have, extra acres going that we don't know about, or flock contracts, and the mayor is part of this conversation, and so that's why we want to know the numbers. We don't want to continue to get surprised.
In between political jabs, Denver Summit FC owner Rob Cohen sat as the council postponed votes on the financial agreements. The goal is to get to full city council for a vote by the end of the year.
We did our work. We crossed the T's. We did exactly what the city asked us to do. I'm not going to speak or get in the middle of the politics of the situation.
The stadium is not dead. That's not what happened today. This committee will meet again and vote to approve or not the financial agreements. Assuming it passes the committee, it goes in front of full city council twice by the end of the year. There are different pots of money. The $50 million the city is providing for infrastructure improvements, that's one. Also, Kyle, there's an agreement on how future property taxes are distributed between the development of this property and a little bit back to the city.
This isn't about the stadium.
This has nothing to do with the stadium right now. Based on the comments I heard today, this was all about trust with the administration.
Which means it's about everything. It's about everything at this point. All right, Marshall, thank you. The longest government shutdown in American history likely ends tonight. The Republican-controlled House is near a vote on a deal to reopen the government. Then President Trump will sign it. Republicans appear to have the votes for the bill that would fund most government operations through January and provide back pay for federal employees. It would also reimburse states that use their own funds to cover food benefits. No deal on extending health insurance tax credits to keep premiums from spiking next year. That is what Democrats demanded before some Senate moderates gave in. Republicans in the U.S. House finally returned to work at the Capitol after 8 weeks away, a delay that allowed them to avoid the release of the Epstein files on President Trump's one-time friend and infamous child sex offender, Jeffrey Epstein. And today, Colorado Congresswoman Lauren Boebert was the target of an apparent pressure campaign by Trump to keep the Epstein files secret. The New York Times and CNN report that the Trump White House attempted to convince Boebert, a strong Republican ally of the president, to take her name off a congressional action that would force the release of the Epstein files, even going so far as to call her to a meeting in the highly secure White House Situation Room with the FBI director and the Attorney General. Because at that point, one name coming off the petition would sink it. But Boebert stayed on, and this afternoon, the process started to force the release of the files. The White House was asked about this apparent pressure campaign on Boebert and, interestingly, suggested that the closed-door meeting to prevent the public from seeing the Epstein files was actually a sign of transparency.
In transparency, Caroline, why are White House officials then meeting with Representative Boebert in an effort to try and get her to not sign this petition calling for the release of the files?
Doesn't it show transparency that members of the Trump administration are willing to brief members of Congress whenever they please? Doesn't that show our level of transparency? Doesn't that show the level of transparency when we are willing to sit down with members of Congress and address their concerns?
It will likely be next week when we see a House floor vote on the release of the Epstein files. If it passes the House, there is no guarantee that the Republican-led Senate will act. Today, House Democrats released emails where Epstein told a journalist that Trump knew about the girls. Trump says he was not involved in Epstein's child sex ring. It sure looks like Congresswoman Lauren Boebert did a brave thing today. Few people in politics are more polarizing, but put politics aside and consider what is being reported by the New York Times, CNN, and others, that President Trump directly pressured Boebert to help him stop the release of the Epstein files by pulling her support off a congressional petition and sinking that effort. Reports say the Trump White House also brought Boebert into the Situation Room for a meeting with the Attorney General and the FBI Director, who we should note are accused of using the Justice Department to punish people who defy the president. And by all appearances, Boebert did defy the president, despite the pressure and the reported threats, stood firm against the wishes of her party and her president. And not on a political or a policy issue where the public is going to hold a wide variety of views, but on the most basic of issues that should unite us all, that pedophiles don't deserve protection, even pedophiles with powerful friends. Now, some of this is going to be speculation because this apparent pressure campaign happened behind closed doors. But if we want courage out of political leaders, then citizens must be willing to recognize and appreciate courage from the politicians that they like the least. It certainly appears that every American who cares about kids and accountability and transparency owes Lauren Boebert their thanks. If you saw it, then you know. Colorado was lit last night. Northern lights like we have not seen in years around here. Our Evan Krugel has a review of last night's show and a preview of coming attractions if you can get out from under the cloud cover.
So it's like being on a ship. You have to haul this rope.
To see what's happening in outer space, you typically need special equipment.
This is what you look through if you're here using this telescope. Move this one to bring it down.
Jennifer Hoffman often has the best view as director of DU's Chamberlain Observatory.
Super fun.
But every so often, the stars align for a show that's visible to the naked eye.
Oh my gosh, it was just incredible. It's so beautiful.
From Jennifer Cry's house on the western slope,
phenomenal colors,
to Carrie O'Connor's home in Breckenridge.
Seeing them with the naked eye was just so special, and yeah, we were jumping up and down in excitement.
To Danny Westover's barn in Arvada.
It was truly a dream and magic. It was just, I felt like we were in a magical story.
Magic that played out across the state, thanks to what Jennifer calls a perfect storm.
So the sun right now is in a very active phase. That means it's spitting out charged particles. And when it hits the Earth, those charged particles can excite the molecules in our atmosphere. And those excited molecules can then emit light that we normally don't see.
Jennifer says the sun's magnetic activity peaks every 11 years. But this storm was particularly strong, making the northern lights visible much farther south. And the timing was perfect, with clear and dark skies.
Never as a kid growing up in Denver, Littleton area, just never seen anything like that.
It was really one of those like once in a lifetime experiences. I have seen the aurora before, but I've never seen them that bright.
Jennifer says storms like this will happen again, but how visible they'll be remains a mystery.
Pure magic. I mean, I sat there and I was like, what a gift the universe is giving us right now.
Now, I just spoke with the space weather forecasting folks up at NOAA in Boulder. They say it is still up in the air as to whether we'll be able to see a show like that tonight. That latest and final round of the storm has arrived, but it is a lot weaker than the one we saw last night, so it still remains to be seen. No sign yet here in the 9 News backyard. Now, the experts recommend popping outside every half hour or so from now until midnight. And if you can't see them with the naked eye, don't be afraid to pull out the phone and take a picture. You might be surprised, Kyle, by what you can see.
So, I mean, I know that last night's show was unprecedented in recent years, but I feel like a couple times in the last year or two, Evan, we have heard about the northern lights being visible, at least in northern Colorado. Is it happening more often?
The short answer is no. We just happen to be in one of those peak windows in that 11-year cycle. And she also mentioned that the prevalence of cell phones today and the technology makes it feel like it's happening more often. Because, Kyle, think back to the cell phone you had 11 years ago. It did not have the technology that we have today. These days, anyone can pull out the phone, even if it's not visible to the naked eye, and get a picture of Aurora borealis. So that makes it feel like it's more common. We just happen to be in one of those peak windows right now. So if you miss it tonight, the good news, you just have to wait 11 more years.
A useful reality check. Evan Krugel, thank you. I think a lot of people are going to remember the cruelty of withholding SNAP food benefits from families during this government shutdown. I am also going to choose to remember your generosity, because over the last 2 weeks, you have raised nearly $200,000 to feed our neighbors in Colorado. The need is still there, but we're still here too. So this week's Word of Thanks micro-giving campaign supports the nonprofit Food for Hope. Put simply, they feed kids in Adams County. They do it in a variety of ways, always through schools. Right now, they are about $30,000 short of what they need for their annual Feed 5,000 Thanksgiving event, where they pack and distribute thousands of Thanksgiving meals to families throughout schools in Adams County. They worry about that week as well, when kids are going to be out of school and missing the meals that they get there. But this is what your relentless generosity means to our community. I was able to tell the folks at Food for Hope, I am confident that together we are going to cover the cost of those Thanksgiving dinner boxes. Check done. And then what? Well, then they're going to use our extra donations beyond what's needed for Thanksgiving to put together fresh food gift cards and other ways to keep kids fed through the holiday season, especially in those weeks when they are out of school and possibly hungry. Food for Hope works all across Adams County through the school systems, focusing on the areas of highest need. So let's get after this. Scan that QR code on your screen or text the word thanks to 303-871-1491 to get the link to donate. You know, even $5 helps, and 5 years of pooling your $5 donations has raised $16 million for nonprofits in Colorado. You also know the deal. I will never ask you to give to a cause I don't support myself, so I will match the first 50 donations of $5 to get us going. More than 6,000 of you have transformed this giving effort by signing up to make a monthly donation to the Word of Thanks Fund. Put in your info once and you're all set. Each month your donations automatically split to benefit all the nonprofits we feature. And that has added nearly $40,000 to recent weekly campaigns.
I get to work, be my own boss and work when I feel like working and work my own hours.
Coloradans with disabilities learn the joy of being El Jefe, and they show off their entrepreneurial spirit. Next. Meteorologist Chris Bianchi, what I need you to do is pinpoint when the northern lights will be visible over each of our viewers' houses, what time, what they're going to look like. Start with Bob and Jane in Thornton, please.
Okay, Bob and Jane in Thornton, 8:19 p.m., dim glow looking northeast. How about that? How about that? And then we'll get into how much snow at your house on November the 19th. That's coming up on tomorrow's edition. But meantime, before we get into anything else, can we just take a moment to appreciate the fact that not only we had one of the more stunning Northern Light shows here in Colorado in recent decades, but also, most importantly, we had the Aurora over Aurora last night. Thanks to Fred for setting in this shot of that. Tonight, if you want to see it, of course, the big question. Do you want to see it on a more serious note? Go east. We've got too much cloud cover in the metro area. We are not going to have the show that we had last night in the metro, but you head just east, get past the airport. You'll get out of the cloud cover, less cloud cover east of I-25. No guarantees, though. There have been, within the last few minutes, settings in Aurora, Illinois, in northern Illinois, as well as into Michigan and Wisconsin, but no guarantees we'll see it here in Colorado. Meantime, tomorrow, 74 degrees. And those temperatures tomorrow are going to be the big story with the high near record territory for us here across eastern Colorado. 50s for us in the mountains. 7-day forecast will slowly cool down next week. Keeping an eye on our first potential snow of the season for us in Denver mid next week.
It's been an incredible experience for us to see and meet new entrepreneurs with disabilities.
Being in business with yourself can get lonely. A pop-up market is creating community for entrepreneurs of all abilities. Next. Starting your own business can be tough, and for people with disabilities, there are more hurdles than usual. An event this weekend at the Curtis Hotel in Denver is helping those entrepreneurs succeed. Byron Reed has their story.
This is a snuffle mat.
A gift comes from the heart.
Where you put kibble or treats between the strips of fabric.
For 39-year-old Brent Anderson, it's a present that took some thought.
It's a good mental stimulation toy. It improves eating habits.
Anderson is an entrepreneur who's on the autism spectrum. He'll be part of a pop-up market called the Celebrate Shop in downtown Denver this weekend that's selling handmade products from people with disabilities.
A lot of people who don't understand disabilities often assume that, they can't do anything.
The market was started by Celebrate EDU, a nonprofit based in Colorado that teaches entrepreneurship to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
But this really is an event for the entrepreneurs to get their products to market and to really help their businesses grow.
Jenny Anderson is the co-founder and CEO of Celebrate EDU, who started the nonprofit because of her brother Brent.
He really struggled to find work that was a good fit for him. So he ended up starting a business.
She says she wanted to help erase a stigma.
Yeah, our goal is for the public to see what people with disabilities are capable of. And we have all these incredible entrepreneurs who are there to show their talents, their skills, everything that they're able to do.
Entrepreneurs like Dylan Rogers, who'll be DJing the event, who'll be one of more than 30 entrepreneurs from around the nation learning how to start their own businesses or find work.
Always making a lot of new friends, like expanding your world, just something new that could be really, really awesome.
The hope is that shoppers will leave with a new appreciation for the love Brent and his friends put into everything they make.
All these products are made by people who really put a lot of their heart into making them.
For Next,
it's always satisfying to see people like, these people with disabilities can be a success.
I'm Byron Reed.
Your feedback on my thoughts about Lauren Boebert's actions today. Next. Even if SNAP food benefits are restarted soon, it's going to take a while for them to get to families, for low-income folks to regain stability in their finances. I want to point you to the nonprofit Food for Hope. They feed kids in Adams County, and they told me recently, politics aside, they're helping children who are helpless to their circumstances during this roller coaster. If you scan the QR code on your screen or text the word thanks to 303-871-1491, we'll send you the link to join me in giving to support their Thanksgiving Feed 5,000 effort. I am confident we're going to finish off the fundraising to make thousands of holiday dinners a reality. And then we'll start work contributing to fresh food gift cards and other ways to keep children fed through the holidays when they're out of school often and not getting meals there. As always, I'm matching the first 50 donations of $5 to get us rolling. In feedback tonight, somebody writes in, I was wondering how often you actually have to match the first 50 donations of $5. Do people really give $5? Yes, many people do. Some people give more, but many people do. And I have matched that all 285 weeks of this campaign. Your generosity is raising more than $50,000 a week. You should be very, very proud of your impact in the community. Patrick says, I do not support Lauren Boebert, but I respect her courage to stand up to President Trump. Friends, this is how it starts. You have to be willing to praise people you don't agree with politically when they do the right thing. We'll see you next time.